Narrator notes high expectations for geniuses as students gossip about a college genius who mastered every profession's spy programs and his upcoming job class switch.
As the genius walks past, the girls express total confidence in his success and plan to confess their romantic feelings to him.
History reveals that monsters invaded the world a century ago, bringing chaos and destruction to the human civilization. Amidst the monster invasion, people began awakening supernatural skills to defend themselves against the overwhelming threat of the beasts. Humanity established stations to fight monsters and level up, turning survival into a systematic progression of strength and combat. Narrator warns of the constant threat of death, showing the grim remains of those who failed to survive the brutal conflict. Geniuses attract significant attention during class transfer ceremonies because their specific abilities will eventually determine the collective fate of all humanity.
Students gather at the job class transfer scene where banners proclaim them as the rising stars of advanced professions.
Jiang Li introduces himself, explaining that he crossed over to this world 18 years ago and used his exceptional talent to learn various abilities. Jiang Li's student record displays excellent scores across warrior, mage, assassin, and advanced combat skills, leading him to expect a hidden job class. Class types are categorized into basic, advanced, and hidden, with the difficulty and power increasing significantly for the rare hidden classes.
Watching from the sidelines, the principal confidently reflects on Jiang Li's boundless future and his own perfect track record of talent scouting.
A muscular student calls out to Jiang Li, identifying him as the highly anticipated genius of the school.
Yan Shu, a student from the Golden Domain Academy, stands arrogantly with his companions while the narrator identifies his prestigious background.
Jiang Li recognizes Yang Shu as a genius son of a powerful practitioner, but notes that he has always remained one step ahead on campus.
Facing the group, Jiang Li ignores their presence and focuses on his own uncertainty regarding which powerful class he will eventually awaken.
Yan Shu mocks Jiang Li, warning him not to awaken a garbage job class and threatening to humiliate him if he fails.
Jiang Li tells Yanshu to let go as his eyes glow with a cold blue intensity that signals his rising irritation.
Startled by the sudden pressure from Jiang Li, Yanshu breaks his grip and looks on with a sweat-beaded expression of surprise.
Yang Shu dismisses the encounter with an annoyed gesture as Jiang Li walks away toward the official ceremony area.
Jiang Li acknowledges that he will be the center of attention today and worries that failing his awakening would be truly embarrassing. The ceremony begins with a public announcement that Zheng Danyu from Class 1 has failed his awakening attempt on the platform. A staff member encourages the dejected student to keep striving in an ordinary profession while calling for the next candidate to step forward. A sudden explosion of brilliant green light erupts from the stage, causing the gathered crowd to gasp in collective amazement. Li Muwan stands triumphantly as the system announces her successful awakening into the advanced job class of Swift Archer.
The crowd cheers wildly for Li Muwan, recognizing her as the genius girl from the Golden Domain Academy as she holds her new bow.
Li Muwan looks toward the crowd while Jiang Li claps politely and the announcer signals for the next student to take the stage.
Yan Shu awakens as a flame mage and expresses disappointment that he only achieved an advanced class rather than something even higher.
While the crowd is impressed by 2 consecutive advanced classes, Yan Shu internally mocks the observers as inexperienced fools who don't understand true power. Yan Shu continues his arrogant lecture by stating that talent is innate and mocking Jiang Li's efforts as those of a clown.
The announcer calls for Jiang Li from Class 4, and he confidently raises his hand and walks toward the awakening platform.
The school board members discuss Jiang Li's reputation, noting that his top grades and presence make him stand out from all other students.
Jiang Li stands centered on the ritual circle as a swirling blue aura begins to manifest around his body during the initiation.
Magical artifacts, including a glowing sword and a mystical book, materialize in bursts of energy as the awakening process reaches its peak.
Intense pillars of blue light and ancient symbols surround Jiang Li as the system processes his high-level potential and combat data. The principal slams his hands on the desk in shock, shouting about the unprecedented commotion caused by Jiang Li's massive energy output. Beaming with sweat and anticipation, the principal wonders if the spectacle indicates the awakening of a unique hidden job class for his star student. A close-up of Jiang Li shows the light intensifying as the final result of his long-awaited job class transfer is about to be revealed. A blue system window appears above Jiang Li, flatly announcing his new role as a basic job class mage. The board members react with total confusion and disappointment, questioning how the school's best student could end up with a lowly basic class.
Yan Shu laughs hysterically at Jiang Li's result, gloating that his own Flame Mage class is far superior to the genius's basic awakening.
Students mock Jiang Li as a fake genius, while others ignore him entirely to beg the successful Li Muwan to take them under her wing.
Jiang Li stands in a dark, oppressive atmosphere, remaining completely silent as the weight of the public failure sinks in.
Dark silhouettes with mocking red smiles jeer at Jiang Li, expressing their disappointment that the top student only achieved a basic mage class. The crowd continues to whisper about the principal's shocked expression and the sheer embarrassment of Jiang Li's underwhelming performance on stage. Jiang Li suddenly opens his eyes as a sharp notification sound cuts through the surrounding darkness of his dejection. A new system window congratulates Jiang Li on awakening a special talent that ensures his skills are automatically at their maximum level. Jiang Li wonders if this unique talent is connected to his crossing over, noting that his current skills do not yet reflect the max level. The status screen displays 3 available spells, Fireball, Light Armor, and Meditation, floating before Jiang Li as he prepares to test his new power.
Rapid progress bars show Jiang Li's skill levels surging from 5 to 7.
A close-up of Jiang Li's eye reflects the colorful, rising energy of his growing abilities.
Jiang Li watches in amazement as 3 distinct skill bars fill with vibrant elemental power.
One skill bar reaches its maximum capacity as Jiang Li reacts with intense concentration and shock. Jiang Li wonders what's happening as he recalls teacher Pujing explaining that practitioners start with 3 basic level 1 skills that bring a qualitative leap when leveled up. A mental illustration demonstrates how difficult leveling skills is despite the massive power increase it eventually provides. Jiang Li smirks at his completed Fireball, Light Armor, and Meditation spells, noting that fate has not abandoned him. A thought bubble highlights the incredible advantage of automatically having max-level skills over even hidden job classes.
The teacher with red glasses grabs the dazed student's shoulders and repeatedly shouts Jiang Li's name.
The teacher tells Jiang Li not to be discouraged, as being a basic practitioner still offers endless potential. Jiang Li responds with a polite and cheerful smile, internally pleased despite the teacher's unnecessary sympathy.
The teacher tells him to go back to the classroom while the principal notes what a commendable kid he is.
Students whisper cruelly about his failure while Jiang Li walks past them with a hidden, knowing smirk. At the trial shooting range, students begin testing their newly awakened skills against sturdy training targets. A red-haired student unleashes a powerful blast of concentrated energy from his hand toward a target. The energy blast strikes the training dummy, engulfing the practice target in a fierce explosion of fire. Watching students cheer enthusiastically for the red-haired Yan Shu, calling his performance remarkable.
Yang Shu spots Jiang Li nearby and mockingly calls out to him as an ordinary mage.
Yan Shu fires a massive jet of flame past Jiang Li to demand his attention and respect. Turning with cold, glowing blue eyes, Jiang Li calmly asks the arrogant student what he wants. Yang Shu points toward the training dummies and challenges the school genius to show off his skills. Jiang Li dismisses the challenge, claiming he is already skilled enough and does not need additional practice. Infuriated, Yan Shu dares the genius to compete against his superior status as an advanced flame mage. The atmosphere at the shooting range becomes tense as the students prepare for an inevitable confrontation. Yan Shu patronizingly touches Jiang Li's head and calls him a wimp, prompting a glare of blue intensity. Yan Shu unleashes a giant fire pillar while Jiang Li effortlessly leaps high into the air above him. Yan Shu mocks the basic fireball spell Jiang Li prepares, unaware of its true, maximized power level. A catastrophic explosion rocks the entire shooting range as the gathered students watch in pure terror. Dust and smoke settle around the stunned students as they witness the massive aftermath of the impact. Massive pillars of fire and a giant crater reveal the true, outrageous extent of Jiang Li's power. The heavy training dummies lie shattered and smoldering on the ground after the overwhelming fire blast. Yang Shu stares in disbelief at the destruction, unable to accept that this is actually happening. Jiang Li walks away as the stunned students whisper about the outrageous power of his basic spell. Returning home, Jiang Li reflects on how that last fireball used half his mana and determines to level up. Jiang Li's mother calls out to him from the hallway, questioning why he returned home so quietly. Din Shui enters the room with a plate of food and tells him to wash for dinner. During dinner, Jiang Li informs his mother that he successfully awakened as a mage practitioner today. Deng Shu smiles and notes that mages are safer because they stay in the back of teams. She tells Jiang Li that his father left a special gift for him to check after dinner. The woman places a heavy gray metal box on the table in front of her surprised son. Jiang Li shouts in shock, questioning how his father left anything if he died before he was born. Jiang Li demands to know why his father ignored them for years and where he ended up. His mother explains that his father went to the edge of the world for very important matters. She tells him not to blame his father because he promised to make him a successful mage. Overwhelmed with emotion, the mother cries while seeing that her son has finally grown up and awakened. Wiping her tears, she instructs Jiang Li to go to his room and examine the box's contents. Alone in his room, Jiang Li stares intensely at the mysterious metal box left by his father. As he touches the lid, the box begins to radiate a brilliant golden light from within it.
Jiang Li opens the container and gasps at the rare, glowing items resting inside the open box.
He discovers a profession chain scroll for an arcanist, requiring gold-level mage strength to use it. Jiang Li examines the profession chain scroll, noting it is a rare item that requires gold-level strength to activate.
A mental illustration details the world's rank hierarchy from iron to demigod, and Jiang Li recalls his father was a top gold-level professional.
Reflecting on the lowest rank of normal, the young mage realizes that even his father's impressive gold standing was relatively low.
Holding the scroll, Jiang Li wonders if his father reached the holy domain or demigod rank to obtain it and why he disappeared.
Touching the mysterious box, the boy determines to reach gold level before the professional trials in Jin City begin in 7 days. He reflects that his entire batch of students will be participating in the upcoming trial, making early preparation an absolute necessity.
In a bustling town square, a pink-haired warrior mocks the newly awakened students for rushing into the dangerous wilderness to court death.
A passing traveler wonders if the determined boy walking by might actually possess a powerful and rare special profession.
As Zhang Li walks past, a woman with orange-pink hair mocks his skinny appearance, claiming he couldn't possibly be anything other than a mage. A hand suddenly reaches out and grabs the boy's shoulder as a friendly voice addresses him as a little brother.
The orange-pink-haired woman notes Jiang Li's aura as a newly awakened student and invites him to join her adventuring group.
A bald man and a blue-haired warrior object, arguing that they have important business and cannot be slowed down by a weak burden.
The woman, named Vivi, scolds her teammates for their rudeness, while Zhang Li offers a polite smile and says it is fine.
Waving goodbye with a cheerful expression, the boy declines the offer and prepares to head out on his own.
Vivi quickly calls out for the boy to wait as he begins to walk away from the group. Handing over a blue potion, Vivi insists he take it because it will be useful for a mage during his travels.
Beaming with a friendly smile, Zhang Li graciously thanks the kind woman for the gift before departing. Vivi waves farewell and tells him to take care of himself as she and her teammates head in the opposite direction.
In the shadowed depths of the Grey Forest, a massive level 4 goblin carrying a heavy wooden club prowls for prey. Hidden behind a thick tree trunk, Zhang Li silently observes the monster as it wanders down the forest path.
Emerging from cover, the boy unleashes a massive, swirling fireball that tears through the forest toward the unsuspecting creature. The goblin turns in pure terror as the enormous sphere of concentrated flame prepares to engulf its entire body.
A violent explosion of fire consumes the path, incinerating everything in its wake with overwhelming magical heat.
Standing over the smoldering remains, Zhang Li confirms that his max-level fireball is more than enough to instantly kill a level 4 monster. The sound of rustling leaves behind him catches the boy's attention, causing him to turn with a look of intense focus. A large pack of red-eyed goblins emerges from the shadows, and Zhang Li realizes the previous explosion attracted the entire horde. As the monsters swarm him, the boy remains calm, noting that their arrival saves him the trouble of searching for them individually.
A snarling goblin leaps through the air, raising its club to strike the young mage from above.
The monster's heavy club bounces harmlessly off a glowing hexagonal golden shield that manifests around the boy's body.
Smirking at the frustrated monsters, Zhang Li notes that his max-level light armor spell cannot be easily broken by basic attacks.
With a tiny flame flickering on his fingertip, the boy announces that his fireball spell has already finished its cooldown.
He slams his palm into the earth, triggering a massive shockwave of fire that blasts the surrounding goblins into the air.
A blue system window confirms he has reached level 2, though the boy feels he is using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Surrounded by even more monsters, the boy's eyes glow with a piercing blue intensity as he prepares his next move.
Snapping his fingers with absolute confidence, the mage declares that the result will be the same regardless of how many enemies appear.
Instead of a massive blast, a pathetic spark fizzles out, leaving the boy looking completely stunned and bewildered. A system alert informs him he is out of mana, and he realizes how taxing his max-level spells are on his limited pool. Checking his status, he sees his light armor is still active and decides to finish the enemies before meditating to recover.
Challenging the goblins to a fight, the boy picks up a discarded wooden club and smiles, knowing they still can't pierce his shield. With a determined look, the mage lunges forward to engage the remaining monsters in physical combat. He delivers a powerful overhead strike with the club, shouting about the hidden power of a melee-focused mage.
The boy's face falls as a tiny damage indicator appears, proving that a mage's physical strength is indeed tragically low. After a long night of grueling combat, the boy finally wears down the horde, though he laments his lack of physical damage. Wiping sweat from his brow, he stands over the pile of defeated goblins as the system confirms he has reached level 3. Zhang Li calculates his strategy, noting that he must use light armor to survive while waiting for his fireballs to recharge. A sudden drop of blood falls from the sky, and the boy looks up in surprise as birds scatter across the moon. Sensing a heavy presence, the boy wonders if a much stronger enemy has arrived as glowing red eyes pierce the darkness.
A massive armored elite goblin with glowing green skin and a giant cleaver emerges from the shadows with a thunderous roar.
Standing before the towering feet of the beast, the boy identifies it as an elite monster and prepares for a real challenge. Zhang Li grins with excitement, realizing that defeating an elite monster this early will provide him with a massive amount of experience. Zhang Li prepares his light armor spell with a smirk as the battle begins.
The massive goblin looks down in confusion at the small human standing before its giant axe.
Zhang Li realizes he lacks mana for his light armor spell as the monster looms over him.
The giant axe goblin swings its massive weapon down toward the defenseless mage with terrifying speed.
The ground shatters under the weight of the monster's strike as Zhang Li narrowly dodges the impact. The boy grits his teeth as he acknowledges that the current situation is going to be a problem. Struck from behind, the boy cries out in pain while a smaller goblin joins the fray.
Struggling to maintain focus, the boy notes he almost forgot about the smaller monsters surrounding him.
Dodging another attack, he questions if the monsters are bullying him for being out of mana.
The mage attempts to stay calm and considers finding an opportunity to use meditation to restore mana.
A snarling goblin lunges forward, preventing any chance of finding a quiet moment to recover.
Scrambling away from an attack, the boy realizes there is no chance to focus in this situation. Examining his items, the boy considers using his only mana potion to cast a protective spell, noting it will restore less than 1/3 of his mana and won't be enough for a fireball.
He holds the glowing potion and concludes that his only remaining option is to retreat, recover, and come back to fight again.
Preparing to flee, the boy hesitates as he considers the consequences of leaving the battle now.
Reversing his decision, the mage determines that running away is not his style during a difficult fight.
He notes that natural mana recovery takes 24 hours, risking losing the elite kill to another hunter during that time.
Drinking the blue potion, the boy watches his mana bar increase as he prepares for a final stand.
The giant axe goblin lets out a thunderous roar as it prepares another massive overhead strike.
The massive cleaver descends with crushing force, aiming to end the confrontation in one final blow.
The elite monster is stunned when its weapon fails to crush the small target beneath it.
A golden hexagonal shield manifests around Zhang Li, signifying the successful activation of his light armor.
He wonders how much mana he can restore through meditation before his shield breaks, acknowledging the gamble. Sitting cross-legged, the boy enters a deep meditation state while his protective barrier absorbs the enemy attacks. The elite monster growls in frustration, unable to penetrate the golden barrier protecting the meditating boy. A horde of goblins relentlessly batters the glowing shield with their various weapons in a frantic assault. A system display indicates that the shield's durability is rapidly depleting as the intense pressure continues.
The giant axe goblin prepares a final devastating strike to shatter the remaining pieces of the shield.
The golden barrier shatters into countless shards, leaving the boy exposed as he finishes his meditation. With his eyes glowing blue, the mage announces that the enemies have done enough and prepares to counterattack. Pointing a finger at the massive beast, the boy mockingly asks if it is getting tired yet. Jiang Li declares that it is finally his turn to strike as a fireball begins to form.
A massive explosion of fire erupts from the boy's position, engulfing the elite monster in a pillar of flame.
Panting heavily, the boy views a system log confirming a successful critical hit on a weak point.
Wiping sweat from his face, the exhausted mage notes how close that encounter came to disaster.
Surrounded by a blue aura, the boy celebrates, leveling up 4 times after defeating the elite monster. He discovers black iron gloves and boots, noting the high-stakes nature of the fight he just survived.
Examining the ugly beginner equipment, the boy decides to keep them to sell for gold later.
Standing amidst the ruins, the boy reflects on the inefficiency of gathering monsters for singular fire blasts.
Zhang Li ponders the necessity of finding a low-cost, wide-range attack spell to improve his future efficiency.
His eyes light up as he discovers a rare skill book glowing with a brilliant golden light. The boy is ecstatic to find a powerful spell that even novice classes can learn and master. He eagerly opens the book to discover exactly what kind of powerful new skill he has obtained.
Blue lightning surges from the pages as Zhang Li absorbs the knowledge of the powerful new spell.
A system window details the Arc Lightning skill, a zero-cost spell that can jump between multiple targets with a paralysis effect.
Zhang Li is excited to try the scalable skill and its control effects on his next enemies.
The scene shifts to a goblin camp at night where several monsters are sleeping around a campfire. Bolts of blue lightning strike the unsuspecting monsters, jumping between them with lethal speed and precision.
The goblins are sent flying through the air as the chain lightning tears through their small camp.
The surviving goblins panic as one of their comrades smokes from the devastating effects of the spell. Recharging a sphere of blue lightning, Zhang Li wonders if one blast is sufficient. He unleashes another surge of electrical energy to clear the darkened forest path ahead. Several small goblins are sent flying through the air by the powerful lightning strike. He notes that the lightning damage is lower than his fireball as enemies fall. He explains that arc lightning costs much less mana and recharges faster than fireball. Satisfied, he concludes that he now has the perfect tool for handling smaller monsters. He eagerly anticipates the experience and rewards from defeating the Grey Forest area boss. He decides to replenish his mana in the woods before engaging the forest boss. A hooded goblin shaman with glowing eyes prepares a sharp shard of magical ice.
Zhang Li holds a small flame and mockingly asks if his opponent is also a mage.
He spots the goblin tribe camp and expects the area boss to be nearby. Noticing the monsters are sleeping, he draws a club to maintain a stealthy approach. He plans to find the boss quickly and strike it with multiple fireballs while others sleep.
The silence is broken as he accidentally snaps a dry branch under his boot.
A nearby goblin wakes up with a confused expression after hearing the loud snap. Zhang Li raises his club with a dark look, sarcastically promising to behave himself. He delivers a swift, comical blow to the waking monster's head with his wooden club. He laughs while patting the dazed goblin, admitting his failed attempt at a stealthy approach. An enraged goblin snarls with glowing red eyes after being disturbed from its sleep. The entire tribe wakes up and surrounds the boy with various crude wooden weapons. He flees from the angry horde while shouting insincere apologies for waking them up. While retreating, he reminds himself to conserve enough mana for the upcoming boss fight.
A pursuing goblin strikes him with a projectile as he runs through the dark woods. Annoyed by their persistence, he stops to challenge the goblins with his lightning magic. A massive discharge of blue electricity tears through the group of pursuing small monsters. He commands the remaining monsters to take another hit as he unleashes more lightning.
Standing over the smoking remains, he asks the fallen monsters why they targeted him.
He examines the area and wonders why the area boss is missing from the camp.
The ground suddenly shatters beneath his feet, causing him to look around in alarm.
A towering, shadowy figure rises behind him as he questions if an earthquake is occurring. 3 men walk through the forest, noting that practicing late at night is suicidal.
Yan Quan plots to capture Jiang Li to please his cousin and earn rewards.
A subordinate asks Yan Quan if they are certain that Jiang Li is still nearby.
Yan Quan glares back at his follower, questioning if the man dares to doubt him.
The terrified subordinate denies any doubt but warns of the danger from elite night monsters.
The group stops in shock as a massive tremor shakes the forest floor around him.
Yan Quan grins, realizing that the area boss has been triggered by someone else nearby.
He suggests waiting for the current fighters to weaken before they intervene against the boss.
With a sinister look, he plans to ambush the exhausted survivors and the boss later.
Jiang Li observes the boss, noting its momentum feels weaker than the previous elite enemy.
A system window identifies the opponent as the level 20 area boss, the Goblin Shaman.
He dodges a magical attack and taunts the shaman for having a slow casting speed.
A massive explosion occurs as the system confirms a critical hit on a weak point.
The Goblin Shaman is engulfed in a towering pillar of intense, magical orange flame.
A sharp ice arrow flies through the smoke, catching the young mage by surprise. He activates a golden hexagonal shield, realizing the battle will not be easily won.
A system alert warns of high damage received from the shaman's level 5 ice arrow.
The Goblin Shaman stares through the thinning smoke with glowing red eyes and a grin.
2 additional hooded goblin mages appear, joining the shaman to outnumber the lone boy.
The shaman looks around in confusion as the forest path ahead of it sits empty.
The boy leaps between massive trees as moonlight filters through the dark forest canopy above.
A hooded goblin shaman prepares a shard of magical ice within its glowing blue hand.
The monster swings its staff, unleashing a massive wave of blue energy across the clearing.
The boy notes the enemy cloak has magic resistance, explaining why his previous attack failed.
Checking his low mana, the boy decides to replenish his energy before the monster notices.
Sharp ice projectiles slam into a thick tree trunk, narrowly missing the boy's hiding spot.
The goblin shaman scans the woods and continues launching icy shards to find its target.
From behind a tree, the boy watches as the shaman prepares another glowing ice crystal.
The monster unleashes a powerful blast of blue magic, seeking to flush out the boy. While dodging magic, the meditating boy focuses intently as a blue aura surrounds his body. The goblin shaman laughs maliciously while charging a large sphere of blue energy in its hand. The boy realizes the situation is becoming dangerous as the monster prepares a final, massive strike. He acknowledges that he lacks sufficient mana for a fireball and must change his strategy. Determined to win, the boy declares he will stand his ground and fight the beast. A sudden discharge of blue lightning strikes the ground, creating a blinding flash of electrical energy.
The shaman screams in agony as the lightning magic successfully interrupts its powerful spellcasting.
A panel shows the monster falling to its knees as the boy approaches with focused intent. The boy explains that the paralysis effect of max-level lightning can interrupt an enemy's casting.
Recognizing a golden opportunity, the boy sprints forward toward the stunned and vulnerable goblin shaman. Tearing the robe away, the boy notes the monster cannot withstand his spells without its equipment.
The boy plans to use guerrilla tactics and equipment theft to finally defeat the goblin shaman. The disarmed monster stands dazed in the forest, gasping for breath without its magical protective robe.
A close-up reveals the shaman's glowing red eyes filled with an intense and burning fury.
The growling monster looks around in shock, realizing it has lost sight of its nimble opponent. The shaman looks confused and panicked after its target vanishes into the shadows of the forest.
Noticing a glow, the monster growls and begins chanting a new spell with its magical staff.
A massive shard of ice forms as the shaman prepares to launch another magical projectile attack. An elaborate magic circle appears on the ground as the shaman unleashes a devastating ice blast. In a blur of action, panels show a blade slicing and magical energy impacting the ground. A giant explosion of blue light occurs as the shaman's powerful spell hits the empty floor. The monster grins as it prepares another orb of magic, unaware of its opponent's actual position.
A close-up shows the shaman's eyes widening in pure shock as it realizes its mistake.
The monster stares at a field of shattered ice, finding no trace of the boy anywhere. Sweating and confused, the monster frantically scans the area to locate the hidden young mage. Appearing suddenly from above, the boy prepares a fireball and announces the game is finally over. The shaman looks up in terror as a massive sphere of orange flame descends toward it. Activating a defense skill, the monster tries to block the incoming fireball with a magical shield. The protective barrier shatters instantly as the boy's powerful fireball tears through the monster's defense.
A massive explosion erupts, and a system log confirms a successful critical hit on the shaman.
Standing over the fallen beast, the boy explains that fireballs can bypass even the strongest defenses.
The boy taunts the defeated monster, noting that its luck ran out when they met today. He delivers a heavy final blow to the monster's head with his wooden club to finish.
A blue aura surrounds the boy as a system notification confirms he has reached level 10.
Inspecting the loot, the boy decides he can make use of the shaman's fallen magical wand.
He examines the fire-resistant robe, noting it is badly damaged and mostly useless after the fight.
Eagerly opening a skill book, the boy learns the powerful max-level ice arrow magic technique.
Marveling at his new skill, the boy wonders how much power the max-level version will possess.
He notes the bronze wand's magic penetration will help him defeat monsters with innate magic resistance.
A voice from the shadows commands the boy to stop and put his hands up immediately.
A subordinate tells the boss that the boy is alone and his teammates are likely dead.
Yan Quan identifies the boy as Zhang Li, praising his victory over the regional boss.
The young mage looks surprised and asks the man how he knows his name.
Introducing himself, Yan Quan reveals he is from the prestigious Yan family of Jinjin. Yan Quan questions if Yang Li bullied his cousin and challenges the family's power. The boy mockingly claims he wouldn't dare bully the cousin, whom he calls a genius.
He offers some small items to make friends while several weapons glow on the ground.
Yang Quan shuts him down, telling the boy he does not need to say anything. Rejecting friendship, the man threatens to target the boy's limbs and promises to go easy.
The boy suggests that they should not start fighting immediately upon their first meeting.
A subordinate alerts Yan Quan that the boy is using meditation to regenerate his mana. Confident, Yan Quan argues that 3 black iron professionals can easily defeat a lone novice. The boy grins, noting that learning the trio's black iron professional status is great news.
Yan Quan warns the boy against a deathmatch while lightning begins to crackle nearby.
A massive blast of blue electrical energy suddenly engulfs the entire group of hostile men.
The boy quips that villains die from talking too much while he waited for mana.
A colorful illustration features the boy smiling alongside several young women in a social setting.
Yan Quan falls face first onto the ground after being struck by the powerful magical attack.
Standing over the fallen man, the boy explains he was just stalling to restore mana.
Struggling on the ground, the dazed man asks how the boy casts spells so quickly. Holding a small flickering flame, the boy dismissively answers the man's question with a smirk.
A colossal pillar of fire erupts under the moonlight, accompanied by a loud, pained scream.
The trio lies. The boy laughs while stuffing a glowing sword into his bag, planning to rob them. He notes that defeating the boss only gave 3 levels and needs new hunting grounds. Leaving the naked men, he calls their attempt to rob a newbie a shameful embarrassment.
Reaching Rosetown at night, the boy exhales a sigh of relief after his journey.
Dragging a heavy sack, he complains about exhaustion and wishes for a spatial storage item. He stops at the entrance of the Golden Dragon Treasury Building to sell his loot. A pink-haired receptionist in a bunny suit welcomes him and offers her professional assistance.
The boy unloads a pile of weapons and armor while the receptionist prepares the settlement.
Later, she rounds the payout to 1 million coins, shocking the boy with the amount. He compares the easy million to his mom's low salary, realizing the professional's earning power. The boy asks to buy basic skill books, and the receptionist leads him to follow. From an upper floor, Mo Ching spots him and questions if that person is Zhang Li. Entering the library, he asks for recommendations for basic skills suitable for a mage class. The receptionist presents various level D skill books, each costing 600,000 dragon coins. He notes his million coins won't go far and decides to buy a control skill. The boy selects the slowdown technique, and a system window displays the new skill's details. After finalizing his purchase, he asks the receptionist if they sell mana-restoring blue potions. An informant tells Mo King that a black iron dungeon has appeared in Gale Plains. Mo Qingqing decides to personally lead a team to find the dungeon's entrance tomorrow morning.
She doubts her eyes, recalling that Jiang Li's ceremony failed and he was an ordinary mage.
A white-haired butler asks her what she is thinking about, catching her completely off guard. She blushes deeply and loudly insists she is not thinking about anything at all.
The butler predicts that clearing the dungeon will cause her level to skyrocket past others. He encourages her, saying she will soon surpass a girl from the rival Li family. Mo Qingqing commands Fu Bo to gather their team to prepare for the upcoming dungeon raid. 2 large blue wolves prowl through the Gale Plains as magical energy surges around them. The boy unleashes a powerful lightning spell, striking one of the predatory blue wolves directly. He observes that his magic damage has increased significantly along with his rising character level.
The boy considers that arc lightning will now one-shot goblins during future combat encounters.
A massive wolf pounces from the shadows, surprising the boy with a sudden, ferocious roar.
The monster's attack is deflected by a shimmering shield as the boy stands his ground. Facing a growing pack of monsters, the boy exclaims that the situation is becoming endless.
In a quick movement, the boy's boots strike the ground as he shifts his position. Sprinting with high speed, the boy channels electrical energy while multiple wolves chase him down. Blue lightning crackles around the boy's staff as he prepares to unleash a powerful spell.
Arcs of electrical magic strike the pursuing wolves, causing them to howl in intense pain.
Noting the wolves can dodge his lightning, the boy decides he must change his strategy. A vibrant purple magic circle manifests as the boy activates his newly acquired control technique.
The legs of the charging monster are snared by purple energy, significantly reducing its speed.
Glowing purple circles on the ground trap several wolves, rendering them immobile and completely vulnerable.
He analyzes the max-level slowdown technique's reliability despite its inefficiency when used against multiple targets. Grabbing his staff, he decides to eliminate the remaining wolves before reinforcements can arrive to him.
A sharp, stylized sound effect appears against a dark background, signaling a final, decisive blow.
Drinking a potion, the boy praises his improved efficiency and notes he reached level 11.
Sensing a new presence, the boy turns his gaze toward the shadows with a serious expression.
A level 20 bloodline wolf emerges, prompting the boy to wonder how to handle it. From atop a boulder, the boy watches as the elite monster growls and tracks him.
A horizontal streak of blue light cuts through the darkness during the intense forest battle.
Blue electricity surges through a group of monsters, leaving them paralyzed in a blinding flash.
Landing firmly on the ground, the boy prepares to confront the elite wolf face to face. Leaping through the air with a fireball, the boy prepares to eliminate the pack's mother.
A massive explosion erupts as a system notification confirms a critical hit on the target.
Standing over a fallen beast, the boy declares that the fight is now one-on-one.
The large wolf growls fiercely at the boy, refusing to back down from the challenge. Activating a purple spell, the boy commandingly tells the elite monster to behave its own self.
Magical purple bindings wrap around the massive wolf, pinning it helplessly against the rocky terrain.
The elite monster is completely immobilized by the paralysis effect of the boy's powerful magic. Approaching his trapped foe, the boy admits he is unsure of the creature's exact weak spot.
Preparing a fireball, he notes the monster is hairy, weak, and about to be on fire. Looking small and pathetic, the terrified monster expresses its disgust while facing the incoming flames. A violent pillar of fire erupts, and the system confirms another successful critical hit occurred.
A system log appears, congratulating the boy on reaching level 13 after the difficult fight. Examining his loot, the boy notes the black iron equipment is small, but fortunately useful. Sitting beside the smoking carcass, he wonders how much the new items will eventually sell for.
The boy is startled by a massive rumbling sound echoing from across the Gale Plains.
Massive clouds of dust rise in the distance, indicating a huge stampede is heading his way.
Several wolves flee in terror while the boy expresses total shock at the sudden chaotic development. Holding a potion, the boy wonders why the world is retaliating so aggressively against him now.
Hostile wolves emerge from the shadows, surrounding the boy as they growl with malicious intent.
The pack charges forward, and the boy realizes in shock that he is not their target.
The sweating boy realizes with a sigh of relief that the monsters were not seeking him.
A close-up shows the boy's eyes widening in realization of the true scale of danger.
He realizes a wolf king triggered the stampede because someone is fighting the area's regional boss. Running toward the source, he declares he cannot let anyone reach the boss before he does. Near a cave entrance, a trio of weary adventurers takes a defensive stance against approaching bandits. The exhausted adventurers look toward their opponents with a mix of defiance and growing concern. A man from the group angrily questions what kind of heroes would take such cowardly advantage.
A sudden arrow pierces the blue-haired warrior's shoulder, causing him to cry out in sudden agony.
The red Mohawk bandit mocks the group, stating they are not heroes and should blame their foolishness.
He declares the boss's equipment and the Bloodstripe Wolf King belong to him and his group.
The bandits loom over the defeated blue-haired man while the remaining two adventurers stand their ground. The captain offers to surrender the equipment and the boss if the bandits let them go.
The bandit leader laughs and demands they hand over the female priest standing behind them instead.
With a lewd expression, the leader promises to release them after he has had his fun.
The captain turns away, telling the shocked Vivi not to blame him for his upcoming decision. In a display of cowardice, the captain weeps and confesses that he just wants to live.
Vivi gasps in horror as her captain reaches out to hand her over to the criminals.
She pleads for him not to come closer as he attempts to sacrifice her for safety.
Closing her eyes in tears, she begs for mercy as the situation reaches its most desperate point.
A sudden blast of blue lightning strikes the scene, sending the bandits and the captain reeling. An electrical energy surge crackles through the air, signaling the arrival of a powerful new intervention. The bandit leader, the captain, and Vivi all react with wide-eyed shock to the sudden magical attack. The bandit leader is enraged, demanding to know who dared to ruin his stroke of good fortune.
Drawing his blade, the leader commands the unseen attacker to show themselves as fire fills the air.
A shadow looms over the bandit while the boy mocks them for robbing people before nightfall. Holding a flame, the boy asks if they are truly dedicated to their life of petty crime.
A masked bandit attempts a silent strike from behind, but the boy remains completely unbothered and calm. The boy warns the attacker not to interrupt him before unleashing a massive point-blank fire explosion. The captain flees the chaos in terror, begging for his life as the battle rages behind him.
Vivi blushes and stares at the boy, overwhelmed by his sudden and powerful appearance in the fight.
The leader realizes his allies were defeated instantly and warns himself not to underestimate this powerful opponent.
He grits his teeth in frustration, trying to convince himself that his foe is merely a mage.
The bandit leader orders a full-scale attack, hoping to kill the boy before he can cast spells.
The boy sighs, wondering why every enemy he faces chooses to rush in so recklessly and foolishly.
He asks if they are eager to die before conjuring a massive wall of destructive magical fire.
The force of the explosion sends the remaining bandits flying backward while their weapons drop to ground.
The leader is stunned that a common mage skill could produce such a devastating and overwhelming impact.
2 swords lie discarded and glowing on the earth, marking the complete defeat of the mercenary group.
The bandit leader grovels in the dirt, pleading that the entire confrontation was just a huge misunderstanding. Charging an ice spell, the boy tells the bandit to prepare for lethal retaliation after his attack.
A beam of ice energy pierces through the bandit leader's chest, dealing a definitive and fatal blow.
Spitting blood, the leader identifies his group as the Blood Wolf Mercenaries before his life fades away.
A final threat lingers in the air as a speech bubble warns that they won't escape consequences.
Dark blood drips onto the white background as the finality of the battle sets in. The boy loots his fallen enemies, pleased that his recent level up improved his magical efficiency and power.
Vivi walks toward the boy and expresses her sincere gratitude for him saving her from the bandits.
She admits she was worried earlier and expresses her shock at how powerful the boy has become.
The boy dismisses her thanks, stating they're even because she previously saved his life as well. Standing by a cave, the boy invites Vivi to join him in challenging the area's powerful boss.
Vivi follows him, amazed that he intends to fight a boss right after defeating those dangerous thugs. She wonders if he possesses a concealed and powerful class, noting his young age and incredible strength.
Inside the lair, the level 25 Blood Rune Wolf King sleeps peacefully amidst the cold, glowing crystals. Vivi looks at the monster and notes she is only level 20 and recently reached Black Iron.
She questions the boy, wondering if it is even possible for only the 2 of them to win. The boy launches a fireball at the beast, declaring they won't know the result until they try.
A violent explosion erupts as the fireball hits the sleeping boss, waking it with a sudden blast.
The boy notes the lack of a critical hit indicator and wonders if fire magic is ineffective.
The Blood Rune Wolf King roars in fury, its health bar appearing as it prepares to kill intruders.
The boy watches as the boss speaks, wondering if the intelligence of bosses is truly this advanced. Zhang Li notes that while the Wolf King resists fire, it seemingly lacks any significant magic resistance.
Activating a purple technique, Jiang Li expresses confidence that he is capable of managing this difficult boss encounter.
Magical purple energy strikes the Wolf King's tail as blood splatters across the dark cave floor.
A massive red energy beam slams into the ground near the ferocious, snarling Wolf King.
A system warning appears as the boy activates a light armor spell against the charging beast. The boss strikes the boy's magical shield, causing a massive explosion and depleting his health.
Jing Li retreats, noting the boss's agility is remarkable even while under the slow spell's effects.
Preparing to strike, the boy decides it is time for him to take decisive magical action. Vivi conjures a magical circle, declaring that she will enhance the boy's magical offensive power.
Empowered by the support magic, Zhang Li readies a high-level ice arrow spell for his next attack.
Vivi reacts with shock as the elite Wolf King successfully dodges the incoming magical projectile. Smirking with glowing eyes, the boy reveals that he knew the monster would attempt to dodge.
A critical hit notification appears as the boy's strike hits the boss in a vulnerable spot.
Jiang Li explains that the wolf's weakness is its waist while Vivi watches him from behind.
The injured Wolf King growls and prepares for another assault despite its bleeding, red-marked body.
Letting out a massive roar, the Wolf King prepares its final, desperate gambit against the intruders.
Vivi screams a warning as the boss goes berserk, surrounding the battlefield in chaotic red energy.
Multiple lesser wolves emerge from the shadows to surround the boy during the boss's berserk state. Realizing the situation, Jiang Li identifies the summoned creatures as the ruffians he previously defeated. Standing amidst the pack, the boy notes the Wolf King's ability to summon lesser creatures.
Vivi offers to assist by slowing the summons and replenishing mana while the boy prepares fire.
Zhang Li charges toward the pack, activating a massive red magic circle on the cave floor.
A massive explosion erupts, granting the boy a flurry of experience points from the defeated summons.
Experience logs appear as the boy realizes the cave's narrow space restricted the wolf.
A close-up shows the boy's glowing eye as he analyzes the boss's loss of agility.
Mocking the beast, Zhang Li offers to spare its life if it uses that summoning skill again.
The Wolf King glares with glowing red eyes, snarling fiercely as its anger reaches its peak.
The boss summons more minions, but they are immediately caught in a red-hot slash of energy. The boy prepares a final fireball, declaring that the right moment for his finishing blow has arrived. A level-up notification confirms Zhang Li reached level 14 as a final explosion consumes the boss.
A status screen shows the boy's stats while a preview reveals a skeletal knight awaits next.
Colorful stylized text announces that the protagonist's skills have automatically reached their maximum potential.
System notifications chime as the boy reaches level 15 and Vivi reaches level 21.
Tossing aside an empty potion bottle, the boy enthusiastically declares it is time to go again.
Charging an ice arrow, Jiang Li wonders why he ever wasted time fighting lesser, non-boss monsters. The wounded boss pants in exhaustion while the boy mocks the pathetic end of its summons.
Jiang Li sighs, claiming there is nothing else to be done for the defeated, cornered beast.
Preparing his ice arrow, the boy decides to reluctantly accept the monster's final bit of value.
The terrified Wolf King retreats from the incoming blast, trembling and calling the boy a devil.
Weeping with fear, the dying monster repeats its accusation that the boy is nothing but a devil. Vivi falls to her knees in exhaustion while a system log confirms she reached level 21. Jiang Li reaches level 16, noting his search function improved alongside his significant gain in loot.
Vivi watches the boy's incredible efficiency, wondering who the real monster in this cave actually is. The boy calls the girl over while she looks at him with a confused, questioning expression.
Jiang Li hands a glowing staff to Vivi, telling her that it is her share of loot.
Praising her support skills, the boy insists she helped him restore mana and increase his magic damage.
Vivi clutches the staff and accepts her role as support, feeling that she is important to him.
Walking out, Jiang Li realizes he forgot to check the effects of his 2 new skill books. A system display shows the Lightness spell and Swamp spell have both reached their maximum level.
Jiang Li contemplates his new Swamp spell's utility while reflecting on the Wolf King's utility.
Vivi calls Jiang Li over, urgently asking him to look at her latest discovery.
2 purple ghost orchids glow softly amidst the dark rocks of the cavern floor.
Vivi explains that the herb is a top-grade medicine for ordinary people and very valuable.
Vivi happily splits the harvest with Jiang Li, who thanks her for the generous share. Jiang Li smiles, mentioning his mother's chronic illnesses and how the herb will help her. Looking at Vivi, the boy hopes the medicinal plant will ease his mother's physical pain. Vivi points toward a glowing rock wall, urging Jiang Li to check it out immediately. Jiang Li prepares a fire spell and warns Vivi to step back from the suspicious wall.
A massive fire explosion erupts as the boy's magic strikes the glowing stone surface.
Jiang Li reacts with shock as the dust clears, revealing a hidden path within the cave. A swirling blue portal manifests, revealing itself as the entrance to a dungeon secret realm.
A system notification identifies the area as a hard difficulty dark altar for level 23 professionals.
Vivi suggests retreating to prepare, but Jiang Li is determined to explore the location immediately. Jiang Li offers Vivi the choice to leave while promising to protect her if she stays. Reassured by his promise, Vivi pledges to do her best to buy him time.
Entering the realm, they receive a quest to stop Dark Mage Garubi's ritual in the forest. Jiang Li anticipates that defeating a Dark Mage will yield excellent mage-specific equipment and loot.
Jiang Li excitedly charges into the forest while Vivi struggles to keep up with his pace. Spotting danger, Jiang Li pulls Vivi behind a tree and tells her to hide and stay quiet.
Vivi asks about the sudden stop while Jiang Li points toward the monsters lurking nearby.
A skeletal knight riding a glowing blue horse patrols the dark woods with a scythe.
Jiang Li notes the dungeon's high difficulty level, observing that even regular monsters are level 20.
More skeletal knights emerge as Jiang Li remarks on the extraordinary rewards this dungeon must offer.
A shout rings out as the skeleton monsters detect the intruders and prepare to attack. The skeleton knights charge forward, demanding the intruders die for spying on their dark ritual.
A promotional group portrait features Jiang Li alongside several female companions from his recent travels. Jiang Li realizes the skeletons lack intelligence, giving him enough time to react and counterattack. Activating his new swamp spell, Jiang Li displays the technique's massive slowing and immobilization effects.
The ground transforms into a bubbling green mire, instantly slowing the area's movement.
The charging skeletal horses are caught in the mud, completely losing their forward momentum and speed. A skeleton knight sinks into the bubbling green swamp, unable to escape the magical trap.
Jiang Li prepares a fire spell, intending to finish off the immobilized enemies in one move.
A violent fire explosion consumes the trapped skeletons, turning them into a blur of destruction. Jiang Li is impressed by the upgraded swamp spell's massive range as he surveys the area. He remarks that he can now efficiently manage large groups of enemies at the same time.
A sudden, loud scream echoes through the forest, startling both Jiang Li and Vivi.
Vivi asks what the noise was, wondering if other people are currently fighting a boss.
Jiang Li deduces that other intruders disturbed the dark mage and decides to investigate the source.
Nearby, a group of armored guards defends a purple-haired woman from a pack of skeletons.
The woman hesitates to flee, but her guard insists her safety is their highest priority.
A skeleton knight lunges at the guard, who cries out in alarm during the clash.
The monster prepares a fatal strike with its sword as the guard looks on in terror.
Jiang Li suddenly appears, blocking the knight's sword with a glowing magical shield.
The purple-haired woman looks up in shock, recognizing Jiang Li as her unexpected savior.
The guard is stunned, realizing that the young man before him is Jiang Li from the academy. He notes that Jiang Li was in the same class as his mistress and recently awakened. The guard warns Jiang Li that these monsters are too dangerous for his beginner-level abilities.
Jiang Li smiles confidently, thanking the guard for his concern while charging a fire spell.
He tells the group not to worry before unleashing a devastating circular wave of magical fire.
Skeletal knights charge on horses as fire spells rain down around them in the dark forest.
Defeating the knights grants a flurry of experience points as Zhang Li declares the battle over.
The armored guard is shocked that Zhang Li defeated all the monsters in one move. Mo King watches with golden eyes, noting that the boy's performance is truly impressive.
Despite his help, the guards arrogantly tell the boy to leave because he is in their way. Recognizing him, Mo King expresses her shock while Zhang Li wonders if she actually knows him.
Zhang Li identifies her as Mo King, a genius student on par with Li Mawan.
While Mo King offers warnings, her guards claim they already weakened the skeleton knights themselves.
Unfazed by their arrogance, Zhang Li prepares to leave and continue his solo journey elsewhere. The boy notes that these weak professionals will never be able to compete with him. Mo King calls him back, assuming he hasn't even reached the Black Iron Rank yet. Zhang Li pauses and looks back silently at the purple-haired woman's sudden, unexpected interruption.
The boy reveals he is level 17, confident that he will reach his goal shortly.
Mo King is stunned by his rapid progress and his display of overwhelming physical strength.
Pulling a pendant from her collar, the woman asks Zhang Li to help clear the dungeon.
She offers a Black Iron promotion gem as a reward for his tactical assistance in battle.
Zhang Li is startled, wondering if the glowing pendant is actually a rare storage item.
A close-up shows the boy staring intently at the valuable item held against her chest.
Mo King notices his fixed gaze while she holds the glowing promotion gem for him.
Blushing deeply, the woman asks the boy to please stop staring at her chest area.
Zhang Li realizes he needs the gem to prevent wasting experience points after reaching level 20.
Zhang Li agrees to help if the woman orders her arrogant bodyguards to leave immediately.
The female guard protests, claiming they cannot allow their mistress to follow a complete stranger.
Mo King orders her guards to leave, claiming their company has become incredibly boring lately.
The head guard insists on testing the boy's strength before he can accept the mission.
Drawing his sword, the guard challenges Zhang Li to prove he is actually worth following.
Zhang Li charges a fire spell, warning the guard that he will not hold back.
A promotional graphic features cute cartoon squirrels on a large, colorful bag of snacks.
A new boss, the skeletal dog chieftain, appears as the girls discuss their social connections.
Zhang Li realizes he can combine skills as a promotional portrait of female companions appears. Conjuring a massive fireball, Zhang Li warns the guard to prepare for his devastating power.
The guard is terrified, unable to believe a beginner-level mage can produce such energy.
Looking up in horror, the guard realizes he is completely outmatched by the boy's magic.
Zhang Li dispels the fire as the weeping guard realizes his life was just spared.
Extinguishing the last of the flames, the boy offers to continue if they still desire.
The sweating guard concedes, claiming they are lucky the boy did not actually attack them.
The bodyguards bow and take their leave while Zhang Li and Mo King watch them. Vivi runs to Zhang Li, begging him to take her along because she was scared. Mo King wonders about their relationship, questioning if Vivi is actually the boy's girlfriend. The two women introduce themselves, with the orange-haired girl revealing her name is Zhu Wei. Narrowing her eyes, Mo King observes that the two of them seem to be quite close.
Vivi happily clings to the boy's arm while Mo King tries to start a conversation.
Zhang Li dismisses concerns about his awakening, claiming he is just an ordinary, simple mage. Mo King watches him walk away, agreeing that special professions aren't the only path to power.
Smiling with confidence, the boy asserts that he has his own unique way of growing.
Using his lightness spell, Zhang Li dashes through a pack of monsters for more experience.
A system log appears on screen, confirming that Zhang Li has successfully reached level 18. Watching the boy's rapid combat style, Mo King wonders if he has always been this powerful. The woman remains confused about how his beginner-level skills can produce such destructive results. Heavy armored feet step through the dark forest, signaling the arrival of a new threat.
The level 27 boss, a skeleton knight commander, appears on a dark skeletal horse.
Zhang Li prepares a swamp spell, wondering if the dungeon contains other powerful bosses.
Zhang Li uses magic to trap the commander, unbothered by how many enemies appear.
Zhang Li claims the skeletons are no threat as long as he uses control skills.
A close-up reveals the skeleton knight's glowing red eyes and dark armored crown.
The skeletal horse lunges out of the swamp with its glowing red eyes flared.
Zhang Li stares with wide, shocked eyes as the enemy suddenly counters his magic.
The boy is struck by a powerful blue energy blast, crying out in sudden brain.
Zhang Li is thrown backward while the girls scream his name in total shock. Vivi cries out in alarm as the massive skeletal commander looms over the group.
Vivi tells Mo King to save the boy while she distracts the charging monsters. Despite her overwhelming fear, Mo King remains determined to help her fallen companion.
A sudden burst of blue energy strikes the armored skeleton directly in its skull. Vivi asks if Zhang Li is alright as he stands up amid swirling light.
Glowing white energy swirls around the boy's feet as he regains his combat stance.
With blood on his face, Zhang Li notes the enemy has unexpected long-range attacks.
Vivi casts a green healing spell to mend the boy's wounds during the battle.
Skeletons charge through the dark forest toward the group under a full moon.
Mo King prays for a holy blessing to strengthen her allies and weaken enemies.
A massive pillar of radiant holy light erupts from the ground into the sky. Vivi notes that this is the perfect moment to unleash a group attack spell. Zhang Li prepares his arc lightning spell, ready to capitalize on the holy blessing. Powerful bolts of blue lightning incinerate the skeletons caught in the forest clearing.
Surprised by the damage, Jiang Li realizes Vivi is using a holy light blessing.
Vivi explains that the blessing increases holy damage, blinds enemies, and multiplies attack power.
Vivi is amazed by the power, identifying Mo Qingqing's special profession as a holy priest.
A system notification confirms that the boss has recovered from its previous paralysis status.
Jiang Li asks for another blessing while Vivi offers to increase his magic damage.
The boy warns the group to be careful as the boss charges toward them. The Skeleton Knight Commander leaps into the air with its massive polearm raised high.
The monster yells in disbelief as a brilliant beam of light strikes it midair.
The Skeleton Commander screams in agony as its skull begins to crack and shatter. A giant, radiant cross of holy light dominates the forest as the boss falls. The armored skeleton is engulfed in divine energy, its dark form beginning to disintegrate. The boss looks around confused by the glowing symbols appearing in the dark forest. The monster commands its minions to stop searching for the intruders immediately. Zhang Li descends from above, shouting that he is right there to finish the fight. A final magical strike lands on the skeleton's head, unleashing a massive flash of light. Jiang Li declares victory while kneeling on the ground as the boss finally vanishes. Zhang Li reaches level 20 and ponders which skill to replace for a bone spear. Noting he needs black iron rank for the skill, Jiang Li is interrupted by Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing offers a glowing gem as an advance reward to help him gain experience. Blushing, the purple-haired woman asks the boy to call her Qingqing from now on. Zhang Li thanks her and promises to repay her for the valuable advancement gem. The boy promises to repay the favor twofold while the woman reacts with embarrassed stuttering.
Outside the dungeon, a guard is reprimanded for leaving the mistress alone inside.
The dungeon entrance stands silent under a bright sky filled with white clouds. The head guard yells at his men, questioning if they have lost their mans. A guard argues that Zhang Li is strong enough to handle trouble despite being new. Uncle Fu dismisses the guard's claims while a fat guard notices something is wrong. The head guard, Uncle Fu, expresses sudden shock at the unfolding events before him. A system log warns that the dungeon difficulty has spiked to abyss level while Uncle Fu orders a rescue mission. Sensing a nearby presence, Vivi asks who is there while Zhang Li prepares a spell behind her. A massive glowing foot stomps into the clearing as a mysterious voice asks if they are intruders. A monstrous skeletal face praises them for defeating his minions before preparing a much more deadly challenge.
The level 30 boss, Dark Mage Garubi, appears and declares that the group has reached their end.
Mo Qingqing is terrified, unable to believe the dungeon boss is actively seeking out intruders like them. While Zhang Li remains focused on his breakthrough, Mo Qingqing realizes that disturbing him now could be fatal. Armored feet march across the stone floor as a guard announces their arrival to the mistress. Uncle Fu rushes to the scene to check on his lady, who greets him with relief. Dark Mage Garubi notices the arrival of the guards and questions if they are merely reinforcements. Dismissing the guards as pests, the skeletal mage conjures a purple sphere to cast a rock spike spell. Massive stone pillars erupt from the earth, violently striking the armored guards and tossing them aside. One arrogant guard remains confident, claiming the monster's impressive rank is the only thing it has. The guard looks up in horror as a colossal shadow suddenly looms over him from above. A massive red-skinned demon crashes into the ground, sending a shockwave of debris through the forest. A lower demon lord appears, causing the guards to scream in terror at the arrival of an abyss monster. Dark Mage Garubi grovels before the demon, offering the souls of the mortals as a sacrifice. The demon lord finds the offerings pathetic while the guards weep, certain that they are all dead. Jiang Li stands up and defiantly asks who is supposed to be a sacrifice, surprising the demon. A system notification confirms Jiang Li's promotion to Black Iron rank as he rallies everyone to fight back. With a confident smirk, the boy declares that the outcome of this battle is still undecided. Uncle Fu is stunned to see a Black Iron mage using a Deep Abyss Demon Bone Spear skill. Jiang Li unleashes several glowing bone spears, sending them whistling through the air toward the demon. The magical projectiles strike the demon lord's massive chest, erupting in flashes of blue and white energy. Enraged by the attack, the red demon lord narrows its glowing eyes and threatens the boy's life. Uncle Fu is impressed by the youth's power, but realizes he must risk everything to survive this day.
Uncle Fu leads a desperate charge, ordering his men to protect Mo Qingqing at all costs.
The guards unleash a barrage of fire spells that explode against the demon's thick red hide. Uncle Fu tells Zhang Li to take the mistress to safety while the guards hold the line. Shrouded in a fiery aura, the old man prepares a suicidal final stand to buy them time.
The demon charges a destructive purple energy beam in its maw, insulting the humans as mere ants.
A massive pillar of dark energy erupts from the demon's mouth, incinerating everything in its path. A dramatic shift in atmosphere signals that the battle has entered a new, more dangerous phase. Jiang Li channels a massive surge of dark magical energy, preparing for his next decisive move.
An oppressive energy fills the clearing as the true scale of the demon's power is revealed.
Uncle Fu lunges forward with a glowing sword, shouting for his men to continue the attack.
The guard's blade strikes the demon lord's chest, unleashing a blinding flash of golden light.
Uncle Fu stands exhausted in the smoke, breathing heavily after his intense exchange with the beast.
With blood on his face, the old man curses the demon while struggling to stay on his feet.
Uncle Fu prepares his ultimate technique, determined to buy time for the mistress even at the cost of his life.
Leaping high into the air, the old guard calls upon his sword of judgment for one final strike.
The demon counters the strike, sending Uncle Fu flying backward as he cries out in sudden pain. The massive demon lord grabs the old man, mocking his weak efforts and questioning his strength.
With a single powerful blow, the demon lord swats Uncle Fu away like an insignificant insect.
Uncle Fu is blasted by energy and falls into a crater, screaming as he loses consciousness. Mo Qing cries out in despair for her fallen protector as the demon looms over them.
The woman begs Uncle Fu to run away while the demon prepares another devastating magical attack.
Stepping on the fallen guard, the demon lord mocks their arrogance while Uncle Fu gasps for the lady to flee.
A sudden volley of crystalline blue ice spears streaks toward the demon lord to interrupt its execution.
A blinding beam of magical energy strikes the massive red-skinned demon lord directly.
Leaping into the air, the old guard yells that this is their final chance. Furious after the strike, the demon lord demands to know who dares challenge him.
Zhang Li holds his magical staff firmly, declaring he will handle the massive beast.
Turning back, the boy commands those injured to tend to their wounds with healing. Uncle Fu asks, "Young man, wasn't your duty to escort Our Lady to safety? We will take over the battle here." While Jiang Li replies, "There's no need for that. I have discovered a method to inflict damage upon him." Looking on in total disbelief, the old guard wonders how a mere black iron mage can cast two spells simultaneously. As the boy channels his power, the old man wonders if he is merging two different powers to create something new.
Kneeling on the ground, the demonic monster curses the group as filthy mortal creatures.
The demon lord bellows that their actions are unforgivable while energy swirls around him.
With a swift motion, the black-haired boy narrowly dodges a massive blast of energy.
The demon lord screams, "Ah!" as Jiang Li identifies the creature's wings as its true Achilles heel, questioning if he is right.
Jiang Li says, "Losing your wings is like losing your magic. Now you can't use magic anymore." While the demon lord asks, "How can you move so swiftly? How did you know?"
Jiang Li declares that Humanity's Academy has taught strategies to counter abyssal enemies and orders a surrender, while privately noting that finding the demon's heart requires luck. The demon lord dismisses the wounds, claiming their recovery powers will soon restore them to full strength. The demon lord says, "I cannot wait any longer. I must regain my power now," while Dark Mage Garubi cries out, "What? My lord, have mercy!" as the group looks on in shock. The skeletal mage screams for his lord as the massive demon begins to devour him. The demon lord makes sickening sounds as he consumes the soul of his own servant. A dark, pulsating energy surrounds the demon lord as his physical form begins to transform. The demon lord growls that the humans have incited his fury, while a system notification warns that he has entered a dangerous second phase. Aiming a blast from its maw, the demon lord orders the insignificant human to die. Jiang Li sprints across the shattered stone floor, narrowly avoiding a massive purple energy beam. Jiang Li realizes his agility spell allows him to survive but lacks the power to retaliate, just as system logs confirm his magic power is doubling. Mo Qing leads the group in a blessing, causing system notifications to confirm massive increases in defense, speed, and mana regeneration. Noticing the surge of light from the group, the demon lord reacts with sudden confusion. The demon lord sneers at the group, labeling them as nothing more than meddlesome fools. Sensing the incoming attack, Jiang Li grits his teeth and notes that the situation is bad. The demon lord shouts for everyone to die as Jiang Li's speed is boosted by 300%. The scene shifts briefly to a mysterious woman in a red gown with a veil. Vivi and the others scream Jiang Li's name as a wave of red energy approaches. Jiang Li calls out his light armor technique, which increases his defense and shield strength by 200%. A massive explosion of red and purple energy erupts as the demon lord strikes. A close-up of the demon's glowing red eye reveals his shock at the sudden resistance. The demon lord stands knee-deep in a glowing green swamp that has suddenly appeared. The monster gasps in surprise as his foot becomes stuck in the viscous green liquid. Jiang Li commands the beast not to move as system logs confirm paralysis and action restriction, leaving the demon lord questioning the strange trick. Standing before his allies, the boy prepares to show the monster something even more interesting. Jiang Li unleashes a thunderstorm swamp spell, combining his arcane art and swamp technique to electrocute the trapped demon.
Paralyzed by the electric swamp, the demon lord struggles and realizes that he cannot move.
Mo Qing urges the group to give all their enhancement magic to the boy, resulting in his magic power increasing by 1000%.
The demon lord prepares a fire blast, mockingly asking how the boy dares come forward. The monster yells that the boy is foolish as he releases a massive red beam. Jiang Li lunges forward, throwing a massive flaming bone spear directly at the incoming attack. The golden spear pierces through the center of the demon's red energy blast with force. Dismissing the attack as petty tricks, the demon lord prepares to swat the projectile away.
The magical spear suddenly splits into dozens of smaller, glowing projectiles midair.
The Demon Lord reacts with shock as the projectiles strike his arms and face. Zhang Li notes the monster is carefully protecting its head and asks if something important is hidden there.
The Demon Lord dismisses the boy's observation as Jiang Li triggers an explosive bone spear technique, combining magic and fire for a massive blast.
Zhang Li shouts that the time is now as the Demon Lord screams in agony.
Vivi looks toward the smoke-filled clearing with concern, asking if the battle is finally resolved.
A dark laugh echoes from the smoke as a single red eye glows with malice. The Red Demon Lord pants heavily while mocking the humans' effort to defeat him. Enraged, the beast shouts that their chance is past while wondering why his regeneration failed. The blue-haired boy explains he used a slowing spell, prompting the demon to curse his trickery. Looking confident, Jiang Li asks a leading question while preparing to reveal his next surprise attack.
A flurry of blue arrows rains down on the demon as the boy reveals his multi-shot.
The demonic monster gasps in utter disbelief as the magical projectiles pierce through its thick hide. Jiang Li declares the battle over while a system notification confirms he has reached level 25. The party celebrates their victory as system logs announce that everyone has gained 2 levels. Uncle Fu observes the boy, realizing he is destined for greatness and needs to be befriended. Jiang Li analyzes his skills while the guards boast about their prowess despite being heavily injured.
Mo Qingcheng tells the boy to ignore the guards while Vivi expresses deep gratitude for his help.
Jiang Li asks Vivi about her future goals now that their current mission is finally concluded.
Vivi explains her desire to train more before joining him again, and the boy agrees immediately.
Mo Qingcheng shyly invites the boy to her home while Uncle Fu formally requests his presence later.
Uncle Fu gestures toward a massive pile of equipment, insisting all the loot belongs to him.
Zhang Li examines his new gear, noting that the gold rank cloak will prevent any future ambushes.
Uncle Fu explains that the rare Abyss Stone can upgrade equipment once he finds a blacksmith. A narrative shift describes the vital role of non-combat professionals who support humanity's survival efforts. Uncle Fu recommends a pavilion steward to find a blacksmith, and Jiang Li prepares to travel.
The group says their goodbyes while a final celebratory scene marks the end of their quest.
A surge of magical power fills the air as the hero prepares for his next journey.
The scene transitions to the grand Golden Dragon Pavilion standing under a bright full moon.
A woman in a black outfit asks the boy to wait, and he agrees politely. Looking at the luxury surrounding him, Jiang Li wonders about the immense cost of the decorations. Manager Lin greets his guest warmly, and the boy explains he is there to sell equipment.
The manager calculates the value of the bronze and iron gear, totaling 25 million.
A glowing skill book and a silver rank bow rest on the table among the other treasures. Manager Lin suggests that the rarest items should be bartered rather than sold for simple currency. Jiang Li requests a barter list for mage equipment and asks to purchase a promotion ord. The bunny-eared woman is ordered to fetch the items while the manager continues the conversation. When asked for his name, the boy introduces himself to the manager as Zhang Li. Sipping his tea, Manager Lin notes that the boy's rapid growth is unprecedented in their city. The boy's expression turns serious as he questions how the manager knows so much about him. Manager Lin explains that their pavilion's intelligence network is absolute as long as money is involved. Jiang Li asks for a blacksmith to set his gemstone, and the manager mentions a master.
The woman returns with a book, asking the boy to review their current list for barter.
She presents a purple gold card explaining the boy now qualifies for a 10% discount.
The woman reveals the promotion orb the boy requested, glowing with a bright, ethereal blue light.
Slamming his hand down, Manager Lin makes a final decision on the price of the transaction. The manager offers the orb for 16 million, calling the discount a gesture of their friendship. Zhang Li calculates his massive savings, realizing he must maintain a good relationship with the merchant.
The boy thanks the manager and promises to bring all his future business to the pavilion.
Manager Lin provides the location of Master Wang Yun, a gold-level blacksmith working in the east.
Jiang Li shakes hands with his new business partner while the manager dismisses any extra fees. Guards at the Wensheng courtyard block the path, declaring that no visitors are currently allowed. Holding his glowing Abyss Stone, Zhang Li requests an audience with the master to set a gemstone. Mentioning the referral from Manager Lin, the boy asks the guards to announce his arrival. A voice from inside commands the guards to let the visitor enter the forge area immediately. Master Wang Yun greets the boy, surprised that the manager would actually refer someone to him. Zhang Li offers praise for the master's skill, but the blacksmith demands to see the gemstone. The blacksmith examines the stone, shouting in disbelief at its impressive gold-level quality. Master Wang Yun admits that even gold-level blacksmiths rarely touch such equipment and praises his skills. The blacksmith pauses with a grim expression, suggesting there is a significant complication. Master Wang Yun warns that setting the stone might fail and asks if he is prepared. The muscular blacksmith proposes a deal while tossing the glowing gemstone into the air. Pointing to his tools, the master explains he needs a crocodile tooth to ensure success. Zhang Li asks if he must retrieve it, but the master clarifies it isn't mandatory.
Master Wang Yun describes the cunning crocodile leader hiding from high-level hunters in the marsh.
Jiang Li decides to attempt the hunt to increase the gemstone's setting success rate.
Proclaiming his immediate departure, the boy tells the master to wait for good news.
A group of aggressive mercenaries confronts Zhang Li on the street, calling him a kid.
The bald mercenary leader asks if he has seen a specific 25-year-old warrior.
Chendong asks if the boy is responsible for the death of a fellow warrior. Zhang Li tries to leave, but the armored mercenary demands that he stay put.
Identifying himself as a blood wolf mercenary, Chendong threatens the boy for being a mage.
Facing the towering threat, Jiang Li firmly refuses to answer any of their questions. The mercenary leader huffs in annoyance as the boy casually walks away from him. Enraged by the boy's arrogance, the mercenary decides he needs to taste some bitterness. Bystanders identify Chendong and discuss the death of the mercenary leader's youngest son.
A man notes the group's domineering nature, hoping someone will eventually humble them. While others gossip about the mercenary leader's power, Jiang Li notes he's in trouble.
The scene shifts to the dangerous thundering marsh, filled with giant insects and serpents. Jiang Li swings his staff, releasing a brilliant wave of golden energy at nearby enemies. A rain of fire spell incinerates the swamp monsters, leaving nothing but charred remains.
Surveying the destruction, Jiang Li is impressed by the power of his new magic.
He smiles at the wide area damage, noting it is far more efficient than before.
Sensing a disturbance in the thick foliage, Jiang Li stops and looks behind him. The boy narrows his eyes, wondering if someone has been following him through the swamp. Using his demon's eye, the boy spots an assassin and expresses curiosity about the intruder.
A massive surge of water erupts from the marsh, surprising the boy with its force.
A system notification identifies a level 29 Serpent King as it looms over the water. Jiang Li sighs with disappointment, noting the monster isn't the crocodile leader he's hunting. The giant serpent lunges forward with its fangs bared, ready to consume its prey. With incredible agility, Jiang Li dodges the strike as the monster crashes into the ground.
From the bushes, the glowing blue figure of an assassin watches the ongoing battle.
Turning his gaze toward the brush, Jiang Li commands the hidden stalker to come out. Chendong arrives with his men, mockingly greeting the boy while noting the elite monster.
The mercenaries labeled the boy's actions as unforgivable, surrounding him with weapons drawn.
Unfazed by the surrounding group, Jiang Li calmly asks if they have any proof. Chendong declares his accusation as fact, while Jiang Li mocks the convenience of his logic. The massive serpent lunges at the group, catching the mercenaries in its line of fire.
Jiang Li fires a piercing ice shard, striking the giant serpent directly in its eye.
The massive body of the beast collapses, nearly crushing the terrified mercenaries standing nearby. The mercenaries gasp in shock, unable to believe the boy one-shotted such a powerful monster. Looking down, the blue-haired boy admits to killing the mercenary leader's youngest son. The mercenaries are paralyzed by the boy's sudden confession and his overwhelming display of power.
Jiang Li summons a massive fireball, telling them the truth will be their final secret.
With glowing eyes, the boy prepares to unleash his magic on the cowering mercenary group. A massive explosion of fire consumes the path as Jiang Li unleashes his full power. Engulfed in the boy's flames, the mercenary leader screams in agony as he is defeated.
The bald mercenary leader is consumed by terror as fire surrounds his cowering, defeated group.
Prostrating himself, the mercenary begs Jiang Li to spare them, offering all their ransomed loot. Looking down at the boy, the bald man realizes he must report this overwhelming strength.
Jiang Li questions the group's equipment while the mercenary explains they ransomed several wealthy families.
The mercenary admits they killed a resisting man and his pregnant wife, horrifying the listening boy.
Shadowed with intense rage, the young mage declares that the entire mercenary group deserves death.
Shifting to the Golden Dragon Pavilion, Manager Lin answers a call from the distant Jiang Li. Manager Lin asks about the gemstone while Jiang Li explains he needs help with another matter. Standing in the wilderness, the boy requests an immediate background check on the Blood Wolf mercenaries.
Jiang Li offers the standard fee for information while standing over the bodies of his attackers. Manager Lin reacts with visible shock and alarm at the mention of the dangerous mercenary group. The manager quickly agrees to help, promising to arrange for an investigation into the group immediately.
Manager Lin warns against being rash, but Jiang Li reveals he has already neutralized the ambushers.
Identifying the fallen leader as Chendong, the boy notes he was the group's deputy head.
Manager Lin explains Chendong's bronze rank and asks the boy how he plans to proceed. Jiang Li expresses confidence in his power, but wants to take the initiative to protect others.
The manager praises the boy's loyalty before beginning a detailed report on the mercenary group's members.
Manager Lin details the group's 6 bronze-level professionals and their mission regarding the boss's youngest son.
Jiang Li agrees with the assessment while the manager identifies Li Xiaotian as their strongest member.
Manager Lin describes the boss as a level 39 knight and warns against a long battle. The manager reveals the group's current location while Jiang Li questions their ties to the Wang family. Manager Lin details the Wang family's commission and invites the boy to return to the pavilion. Entering the fusion chamber, the manager explains the strategic importance of managing limited skill slots. Manager Lin describes the specialized room as a place where mages can fuse spells together. Jiang Li prepares for his first fusion while the manager explains the rules and permanent results. Following the manager's advice, the boy begins fusing his basic fireball and lightning arc spells. System notifications confirm the successful creation of a more powerful, higher-level lightning ball skill. Zhang Li realizes that spell fusion is the perfect solution for maximizing his limited skill slots.
The boy offers his captured equipment to cover the costs while mentioning his need for bait.
Zhang Li describes the difficulty of finding the crocodile leader needed to upgrade his gemstone setting.
Manager Lin reveals a confident grin, announcing that he has already prepared the necessary hunting bait.
The woman presents a glowing bait originally meant for the master, now deemed perfect for Zhang Li. Zhang Li thanks his friend while the manager confirms the looted gear covers all current expenses.
Holding the glowing orb, the boy accepts the manager's wishes for a successful and safe hunt.
Zhang Li arrives at the marsh using a powerful swing to clear the path.
Electrical sparks and bubbles rise from the murky green water as something large approaches.
Raising his staff, the boy summons a massive beam of lightning from the heavens.
Looking back with excitement, Zhang Li realizes the target he was searching for has appeared. A system notification identifies the level 33 boss, Thunder Crocodile Leader, as it lunges at him.
A stylistic portrait of a young girl in a hoodie provides a brief, colorful interlude. Staff in hand, the hero prepares to clash with the massive, roaring reptilian boss. The boy activates his light body technique, causing his feet to glow with magical purple energy.
Zhang Li delivers a strike that he claims would be difficult even for iron-ranked professionals.
The boy grins with a dark confidence, noting the monster's skill at choosing its current opponent. Lunging forward with a determined shout, the warrior meets the lunging crocodile in close quarters combat. Enraged, the giant beast roars while blue lightning crackles across its thick, armored hide.
A violent explosion of magical power marks the collision between the warrior and monster.
Activating his light armor technique, the boy narrowly blocks a devastating counterattack from the beast.
Surrounded by glowing ice shards, the boy declares that the battle has reached its final end. Sharp shards of magical ice pierce the monster's hide as the final blow lands.
Attacking the crocodile boss, Zhang Li observes that the monster's skin is surprisingly tough.
Striking a dynamic pose, the boy decides to try an internal attack if the outside fails.
Narrowing his eyes with resolve, Zhang Li prepares to strike the beast from the inside. As the massive crocodile roars, the boy stands ready to launch magic into its open maw. Pointing his staff, the boy offers a little gift as he fires magic into the throat. A violent internal explosion rocks the giant crocodile, causing it to let out a pained roar. Engulfed in a blast of energy, the massive reptile is thrown backward by the overwhelming force.
Activating his sluggish technique, Zhang Li commands the beast to be honest during its final moments.
The crocodile is bombarded by powerful magical impacts that tear through its thick, armored hide.
Standing over the beast, Zhang Li explains that electricity intensifies flame explosions while noting the monster's ignorance.
Noting the creature's cooperation, the boy admits that its open mouth saved him a lot of trouble. With a final shout of "Die!" the hero unleashes a beam that splits the monster apart. Zhang Li notes that his technique weakens Bone Spear and delivers high single-target damage like Ice Arrow. The boy considers more skill combinations, pleased that his new technique only counts as a single skill.
Standing over the remains, Zhang Li wonders how to handle materials and if he should pull teeth.
Night falls over the city while the boy waits patiently outside Master Wang Yin's forge. Exhausted from his hunt, the blue-haired boy dozes off while sitting on a wooden stool.
Master Wang Yun bursts through the door, loudly announcing to the boy that the work is finished.
Zhang Li asks how it looks while the master confirms the gemstone is now perfectly embedded.
Displaying the Golden Abyss staff, the master notes materials are usable despite the poor collection technique.
Rubbing his head sheepishly, Zhang Li admits it was his first time handling such rare monster materials.
Handing over the weapon, the master notes that the staff's spell penetration is actually quite impressive.
Gripping his new staff, the boy smiles confidently, feeling well prepared for the challenges ahead.
A holographic notification appears as Manager Lin places an urgent call to the waiting boy.
Reaching out a gloved hand, the young mage prepares to answer the incoming magical communication.
Manager Lin reports that the Bloodwolf Mercenary Corps is preparing to enter the Earth Dragon's lair. Wearing a dark smile, Zhang Li declares it is time to end the Bloodwolf Mercenary Corps.
A vibrant group portrait of several young women provides a brief, colorful pause in the story.
In the mercenary camp, a frantic runner announces to the boss that their third brother is dead.
Shocked by the news, the armored leader Li Xiaotian demands to know what happened to his man.
Zhang Jie explains that the culprit is a young mage who intercepted their missing comrades group.
Li Xiaotian huffs in rage, insulted that a young mage would dare to disrespect the Bloodwolves.
The leader prioritizes royal matters, noting they are more important than immediate revenge for their dead brother. Li Xiaotian shuts down the discussion, stating revenge can wait until he advances to the silver rank.
A command to summon everyone immediately echoes through the camp as the mercenaries prepare for battle.
Smirking at the upcoming mission, the green-haired mercenary and his allies prepare to move out. Armed with shields and spears, the mercenary group marches out from their camp in a coordinated formation. Two rough-looking scouts watch the departing mercenaries from the safety of the thick forest brush. Peeking from behind a tree, Zhang Li observes the group and confirms Li Xiaotian's presence.
Arriving at the destination, Li Xiaotian praises his brother's hard work in locating the dragon's lair.
The leader declares that they have finally found the lair and now is the time to attack.
Li Xiaotian promises to personally skin the enemy alive once he advances to the silver rank.
Li Xiaotian vows excruciating punishment for the enemy's friends to show why they are Blood Wolf mercenaries.
The mercenaries raise their weapons and cheer, shouting, "Long live the leader," in a display of loyalty. Watching from the trees, the scouts plan to ambush the group once the dragon battle begins.
A massive glowing-eyed earth dragon emerges from its lair, looming over the gathered mercenary force.
Li Xiaotian orders his brothers to charge, leading the assault against the intimidating prehistoric beast.
The giant earth dragon let out a deafening roar as it prepares to defend its territory. With a powerful swing, the beast swats a screaming mercenary away like a mere insect.
A mage within the group unleashes a blast of fire, striking the massive dragon's head. A hooded mercenary leaps through the air while drawing a dagger for a stealthy attack. The agile combatant unleashes a rapid series of dual-bladed strikes against a hidden foe. The masked mercenary struggles against his opponent's durability, noting that the creature is far too tough. A massive tail swats a screaming mercenary away, sending him crashing into the nearby ruins. The beast roars defiantly as a magical circle glows brightly beneath its heavy prehistoric feet. A falling boulder strikes a mercenary, who cries out in pain as the rubble crushes him. The red-haired leader activates his gray stone shield technique to counter the incoming physical assault. The leader orders his men to take cover behind him while his shield absorbs the impact. Coordinating with his mages, the leader prepares to move in and demands they watch for his signal. The red-haired leader initiates a powerful giant charge, lunging forward with his heavy shield raised. A forceful impact occurs as the charging knight slams his weapon into the massive beast's hide. The dragon swats at the knight, creating a chaotic explosion of dust and debris in the arena. The mercenaries celebrate the cessation of tremors, praising their leader for taking down the beast solo. The red-haired leader shouts orders to his subordinates, telling them to stop idling and target eyes. A close-up reveals the dragon's glowing red eye as the mercenaries confirm their coordinated target. A concentrated magical barrage strikes the creature's head, causing several violent explosions upon contact. The red-haired leader delivers a heavy strike to the beast's neck, causing a massive energy flare. The knight is forcefully repelled by the dragon's sheer physical power during their close-quarters exchange. Desperate to maintain momentum, the leader reprimands his team and demands they continue their relentless attack. The leader expresses sudden confusion and alarm, questioning who cast a rain of fire spell. Jing Li appears amidst the flames, noting the mercenaries' training before declaring they will all perish. The young mage wears a cold, confident smirk as the screams of his enemies echo behind him.
A stylistic portrait of a young girl in a cat-eared hoodie provides a colorful, brief interlude.
Surrounded by falling fire, Jiang Li states that no one will be allowed to leave alive. A projectile whistles through the air as an enemy launches a counterattack against the intruder. Jiang Li effortlessly blocks the incoming projectiles by activating his hexagonal light armor technique, Barrier. The mercenaries confront Jiang Li, outraged that he would dare to ambush the Blood Wolf group. The subordinates urge their boss to focus on the dragon while they stay behind to block the mage.
The red-haired leader lets out a pained roar as he is struck by a powerful force.
The massive beast looms over the knight, its glowing eyes focused on the struggling warrior. Enraged at being pushed to his limit, the leader vows to finish the fight today.
A heavy stomp shatters the ground, signaling the activation of a high-power physical technique. Shouting a final threat, the knight leaps through the air to deliver a crushing blow.
A violent explosion of red and blue energy marks the collision between the two powerful combatants.
The red-haired leader taunts his opponent, mocking the boy for not being as strong as expected. Regaining his composure, the leader orders his remaining men to quickly surround the young intruder. The mercenaries are shocked by the boy's incredible casting speed as magical ice shards impale them.
Jiang Li tells his foes that words are useless and they only need to remember one thing.
With a cold gaze, the hero declares that he is the one who will take their lives.
Multiple ice shards slam into the leader's heavy shield, pushing the armored warrior backward. The leader reacts with visible shock as his defensive gear begins to crack under the magical pressure.
Jiang Li mockingly acknowledges the warrior's reputation as the Greystone Knight, known for his high defense.
The knight recognizes Jiang Li as the mage responsible for killing his comrades in previous encounters. The Greystone Knight vows to settle all grudges now while Jiang Li prepares a final green spell.
The knight struggles in a swamp trap while Jiang Li charges a massive, crackling lightning sphere.
The mercenaries look on in horror, wondering how the boy can chant two powerful spells simultaneously.
The knight attempts to block the attack, but the electrical energy bypasses his shield and shocks him.
Surrounded by arcs of blue lightning, the Greystone Knight screams as the electrical discharge ravages his body.
Realizing he is weakened from the dragon fight, the leader prepares to use his ultimate defensive measure.
The knight activates his absolute defense skill, creating a massive, jagged stone barrier to block the mage.
A powerful blue energy beam slams into the massive stone barrier, creating a violent impact.
Li Xiaotian calculates that Jiang Li is low on mana while his defense restores strength for his next skill.
Standing above his opponent, Jiang Li mockingly compares the Blood Wolf leader to a fearful, shrinking turtle. Jiang Li prepares a powerful specialized skill, noting he designed it specifically for breaking through this stalemate.
Launching a concentrated energy beam, the young mage commands the attack to go forth and shatter the defense.
A massive explosion of blue and purple light erupts as the mage's powerful beam shatters the barrier.
Manager Lin notes that news of the Blood Wolf group's defeat by a black-cloaked mage is spreading rapidly.
Manager Lin explains that Jiang Li's identity remains hidden despite the public's gratitude and a new nickname.
Jiang Li reacts with a nervous, sweat-dropping expression while reading about his new nickname as the Black Mage.
Jiang Li fears the new fame will cause more trouble, while Manager Lin simply laughs at the situation.
The door to the private room swings open, signaling the arrival of unexpected and highly energetic visitors.
The purple-haired and orange-haired girls burst in, both aggressively demanding to team up with Jiang Li for trials.
Caught between his two female companions, Jiang Li confusedly asks when they even had the chance to meet. Jiang Li laughs sheepishly, admitting that this new kind of social trouble is unavoidable as the chapter ends.